Okay, next scenario. A new partner you're working with for the first time is struggling to take your feeds. The deaf client is becoming upset and asks you to please just interpret more of the information because it's very important that they get it for their job. What's the conflict? What would you do about it and why? That's too easy.
Okay. The situation is that my partner is struggling, and even though I'm feeding, I'm monitoring the accuracy of the message. While I'm being the support interpreter feeding her, she's still not getting it, and the deaf person is becoming upset. So the conflict is, what do I do? That's the conflict. What am I going to do about that? The perspective of the deaf person is they really want the information, and it's critical information to them. It's not just a regular staff meeting. It's apparently very critical information, and they really are wanting to get accurate information. The perspective of the hearing person is it's apparently critical information that they want to get across to everybody in the room, not just the hearing people, but the deaf people as well. The perspective of my partner is that she's struggling, she knows she's struggling, and she's probably embarrassed that she's not doing a good job. My perspective is I want to be able to provide the deaf person with accurate information, and that's the whole goal, is to interpret, get the information across. So the Code of Professional Conduct tells me that we would work together as a team, and while working together, I would be monitoring the accuracy of the message that my partner is providing, and provide support and feeds as needed. Also, under respect for consumers, they have the right to have their preferences known concerning interpreter choices and interpreting dynamics. In respect for colleagues, I would always approach my colleague with respect, and in private, if I needed to talk to her specifically, I wouldn't do anything in front of everybody to embarrass her. So at the first possible moment, I would bring her aside and talk with her, and maybe even bring in the deaf person too if they felt comfortable with being involved in the conversation. And we would talk about the possibility of changing the timing that we switched off so that I could take on a little bit longer time and let her take on shorter times, maybe 15 and 30. Also, I would want her to look at my notes during her time when she was sitting being the support interpreter, so that she could pick up some things that she was missing. Maybe she's not catching the acronyms or something. I'm not really sure exactly what the problem is. And then, of course, the deaf person always has the right to contact the hiring agency and ask for a replacement if the problem is beyond repair. So that would be my solution, is that I would speak with my partner in private and see what we could make arrangements to provide better service for the deaf person. The short-term consequences of that is that the deaf person would be able to get the information that they needed, and that the hearing person would feel satisfied that the interpretation was taking place and the deaf person was getting the information that they needed. My partner would feel good that I was being respectful and working with her to make sure that that was effective. And then the phone rings. And then the long-term consequences is that the deaf person would feel confident that they have the right to make those kinds of adjustments as needed, as it comes up sometimes. And my partner would feel comfortable that I would be willing to work with her on an ongoing basis, if need be, to make sure that she would be able to provide the best interpreting service. Also, I would assume that because this interpreting assignment had 2 interpreters, we would need 2 interpreters. And so it would not be possible for me to do it alone, which might have been an option if it was a shorter assignment. But I'm assuming that both of us took this assignment thinking that we were both qualified, and the hiring agency assigned it to us viewing us as both qualified. So I would work with that situation as we